As for the Chiefs, they are even with a team above them in the standings because the Steelers are undefeated. I think the best team in the
time travel, Rich.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we got in one of those things, I don't know what it is, where you shut the door and suddenly you're in 2040.
The DeLorean?
That's what this offense is. They're frightening. I mean, and here's the thing that makes them all the more scary. You go back to the first Raider game, and Andy, who loves to throw the ball. And, that's ironic because Andy's an old offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
He loves to throw the ball. And he said after that game that he didn't put his players in position to be successful. I didn't give them the opportunity to be successful. And what he meant by that was the run-pass ratio was so out of whack. And, we've become so one-dimensional. I think the Raiders played coverage and, kept everything in front of them. And as we found out last week, particularly with Tampa Bay, the one thing that you can't do versus Kansas City or can't allow are those explosive plays.
Mm-hmm.
And, who made the decision to single that guy is, I don't know. It's crazy. But, I look at the next week when they came back after the Raider game and they ran the ball over 40 times for over 200 yards.
Yep.
And you say to yourself, oh, my gosh, if they ever – and to their in Andy's defense, he closed out the Super Bowl that way, running the football. But if they have that kind of balance, what do you do?
I don't know, because you're talking about that game against Buffalo where they just came in and then kind of ran three or four of the same plays right at them and jammed the ball down their throat. And speaking of getting into the DeLorean and going into the future, Vic Fangio went a little bit on the way back machine today, the head coach of the Broncos. That's who the Chiefs are playing on Sunday Night Football, Howie. Vic Fangio said that Elway was kind of the Mahomes of the 80s and 90s.
I agree.
You'd agree with that?
Chris and I talked about it. It's like people don't understand John was the hardest guy to pass rush against because the tackle can overset you if you're outside. And if you go wide on the guard, if you're inside, if there's any kind of a gap, he's taking it, particularly down in the red zone. But on third down, like let's say a 3rd down and 2, Chris was looking at a play where it was 3rd and 2, and Mahomes drifted to it's usually a 3-5 step drop and it's 5 yards and whatever the number is. He drifts to 16 and drifts to his right or to his left and makes a 25-yard throw for a first down
with a flick of the wrist.
You can't. The ability to what he forces you to do defensively is be so stagnant. It's like we have to press the pocket. We can't rush the quarterback. You have to be able to get there with 4, and that's the key because you have to play coverage versus this team, and you have to do it really smart. That's the key. But John was just like that. That tackle would invite you inside, and if you took an up and under, John would burst out to his right, throw the ball across the field 70 yards.
Now, put it all together, though, I'm going to ask you the ultimate question here, Howie. Because I mentioned this on NFL Game Day morning last week on Sunday, that before Mahomes was taking on Brady, that in order to match Brady in terms of success and longevity, he needs to win. He needs to go to 8 more Super Bowls and win 5 of them in the next 18 years to win as many Super Bowls and also play as long as Brady. And Brady would be, if he does that, Brady will be 61 years of age on that day. So my question for you is Mahomes set up to be the greatest of all time? Or is that really ludicrous to even suggest, despite how great he has looked so far?
Well, I think he's a guy that, some guys, you say some quarterbacks who, move around and what kind of hits are you taking? It's like Russell doesn't give you a clean hit.
Right. For
the most part, the kid in Arizona doesn't give you a clean hit. Cam, and the problem with Cam was, and still is, you ever walked up on Cam, he's all of 6'6", 6'5", And for him to get from vertical to horizontal quickly is a challenge. That's number one. He has to limit the number of hits and be smart and not allow that to happen. Number two is they have a tremendous supporting cast.
They sure do.
Around him at wide receiver, at running back,
tight end.
At tight end. Kelsey's a Hall of Fame level tight end. If they can continue to, I think maybe the most impressive thing about New England and what they did and what Brady did was, you looked at them on paper and on film, and you go, it's okay, but they were so well coached, so disciplined, and Tom was such an extension of the head coach and the kind of style that they won. And you think about all the Super Bowls they won. What's the average winning total of each Super Bowl they won? It's like 3 points. They won close Super Bowls. It's not like they were blowing people out. The more that Kansas City over the years surrounds him with talent and can show that they can listen, they came from behind in every playoff game last year, 10 or more points down.
Maybe the last time we see that, though, Howie. I think to your point here, because Andy's not going anywhere either. He's in his early 60s, so they have a shot here. Like, I think legitimately we're already treating him in the media like Michael Jordan or somebody of that ilk, in the way that, why would we give him MVP when, he's already been there and done that? Let's kind of spread it around to people who haven't gotten it.
I don't know. MVP's that's a complicated conversation, and it's well beyond my pay grade.
Right, but he has a chance, I think, when it's all said and done, to match Tom. It's entirely possible.
He certainly is the guy that you look at, but he's at base camp 2.
Is he?
Okay.
Yes, he is. Yes.
So look, It's one thing. A lot of people have fallen short just before the summit.
Yes.
On 1 year. Think about what Tom did, and think about what New England did.
It's crazy.
We will never. I don't think we're ever going to see it again. I don't. It's too hard. It's just too. And it's not a game like basketball or baseball where, you got a little hamstring tweak or something. In football, we see it every week, Rich. People go down every week, and it changes the dynamic on a football team and. Maybe the dynamic or the trajectory of their season.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.